Welcome to the ISB show. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Rahi and Roy. The boys had a little bit of a break after international break, but we are back at it today to talk a little bit about the Ballon D'Or, which is coming up very shortly, boys. And there's only one question to ask is, who will win?
There's only one right answer to this question, Roycito. What's the right answer?
The right answer is
Emiliano Martinez, who doesn't happen to be on the list, I don't believe. Is he on the list?
I don't think he's on the list. It's an interesting option. If Aston Villa wins the Champions League this year, maybe.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. He's a phenomenal personality. He's huge for the game. He's been massive for Argentina, arguably their MVP over the last 2 years. Come on.
You know, my fear is if he went to that ceremony, what he would do with the trophy would be so worrisome that I think I just don't know. Like, what would he do?
I would love it.
I have no idea.
You know what he would do with that Ballon d'Or. You know exactly what he would do.
It's a family show, Roy.
It's
a large part of the
reason. All right, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down for everyone. It's pretty obvious. It's gonna be either Rodri or Vinicius Jr. So let's talk about this. Hey, well, okay, fine. Before I actually make that statement, does anyone think it's gonna be anyone else?
No.
Okay. Rahi?
No.
Okay, great. So now we can get down to basics here. Okay. All right. Who wants to go first between these two? What do you think, Roycito?
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna start with, because I think it's pretty obvious that Vinicius is gonna win. I think most people are kind of hoping and wishing that someone classy like Rodri could win, because he is a classy midfielder, man. He's done it for club and country. He's been consistently great. Vinicius, not the same. Not the same story. He has been a non-factor for Brazil. Just not the same guy at all. And that is almost equally important to club performance when considering a Ballon d'Or winner. You can't have a guy win this. I think he's going to win. I'm almost certain he's going to win. You can't have a guy who doesn't play well for his national team, and his national team is Brazil. I understand Holland and Norway, but Brazil, and he can't stand out. What is this?
I agree. So between these two, you would pick Rodri, correct?
I would pick Rodri.
Yeah, Rahi.
Yeah.
So I understand the argument. Internationals, Rodri has had a better year, right? Winning the Euros with Spain.
100 times better.
Vinicius, Brazil out in the first round of the knockouts in the Copa America, right? For me, I still think Vinicius deserves to win this because he's playing at the biggest club in the world. They won the Champions League, and performance after performance, he's game-changing to a level that is the best player in the world. He's Messi-like, he's Ronaldo-like in what he's doing. If you watched him against Borussia Dortmund, you're just saying to yourself, my goodness, right? This guy is that good. Some of the stuff he's doing is incredible to watch. And I love Rodri, an incredible player. I was a big fan of Luka. When Luka won the Ballon d'Or, was great for him to break up that Ronaldo-Messi thing. But I think we have to acknowledge the best player in the world right now, the one you fear the most, the one you'd be scared to face, is Vinicius. And there's no doubt about that.
Unless it's an international game, then you are not worried about this guy. He's not scoring. He's not assisting. He's not performing at all. Rocky, you mentioned Brazil not winning. It's not about Brazil not winning. In the same way that if Holland was in the top two conversation, it's not about Norway not winning. It's about that player's performance for the team he's on. He has been one of the worst players for Brazil across Copa America. Watch the games again. Watch the games again.
True.
Watch him every time he gets the ball on that wing and what he does with that ball. He's not creating danger. I'm going to give you that hint.
No, he's not. That's not true. And the other question I would turn back on both of you is, I understand that Spain won the Euros, but was Rodri the best player for Spain in that tournament?
Regardless,
no, but that's the question.
He won player of the tournament.
That's the question.
He won player of the tournament. but so
I
so he did
understand
win
he
play
won
the
that
tournament.
on
Was he the
reputation, but
best
was he the
player for Spain? I mean, he was up there. He wasn't the.
no?
I wouldn't say he's the
But the
best.
answer
I
is
would say
no.
no. I would say he was a very integral. Look, so I agree with Roy on this. I would choose Rodri. So I'm gonna give, and we can talk about it, Rahi, like about why. But City, okay, we've talked about the negative parts of Vinicius' game. But what about the positive parts of what Rodri has done for Man City, right? So you're talking about Vinicius's club form, but what about Rodri's club form? You have to give him credit for that, right? I
No,
mean,
but they didn't win but they lost. They lost to Vinicius' team.
but they won the league.
That doesn't matter. I mean, so did Vinicius.
But okay. So if you look at the categories, you have international and you have club form, right? So in the club form, yes, they both won and they both performed very exceptionally for their club teams. Check, right? On the international phase, Rodri, okay, fine. You say he's not the top player for Spain. Top 5 players for Spain, instrumental in them winning the
But
Euros. Check.
three.
And
No,
Vinicius is back in Brazil. Actually, he didn't even play. He didn't even play the playoff match. So he's basically barely played in the Copa America, and when he did, he wasn't making much of an impact.
When he did, you're wondering if he was on the field. That's how bad he's been for Brazil.
okay,
Let's be real.
but that's wrong. The check on the club is not fair. To say that they've achieved the same thing at the club level in the past year is not true. It's not a fact. Vinicius
No, it's
has
not.
won the
You're very
Champions League with Real Madrid. He's the
sure.
best player on the best team in the world.
No,
And
I
that's
agree.
not me saying that. That's the fact that they won the Champions League, right?
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
the best team in the world. So you cannot compare them on the club level. Rodri's
Yeah.
a very good player for an extremely good Manchester City team, but that's not fair. Now, on the international level, yes, Rodri has performed better. The other argument, though, is he has a better national team. That's a fact as well. And the players around him, Vinicius does not have Yamal. Vinicius does not have Nico Williams. Vinicius does not have Dani Olmo. That's a very different conversation. Vinicius has a Brazilian team on which he is, yes, the best player. That's a fact. But the players around him aren't very good, Roy, and the team around him isn't very good.
I don't know if I agree. I agree that they're not playing well, 100%. I agree the team is not playing well. I agree Brazil is in a dark moment. I disagree that he doesn't have good players around him. Come on. Secondly, to the point of club versus international. Yes, Vinicius has been better from a club perspective. Rodri's been phenomenal. But who won the Champions League? Who did they beat on the way there? It's impossible to ignore the fact that Real beat Manchester City. One is Vinicius' team, one is Rodri's team. But looking at both on the club level, I'll give Vinicius a 94. I'll give Rodri an 89. On the international level, I'll give Vinicius a 37. I'll give Rodri a 90. That's the way I see it. It's consistently great.
But you're
versus
judging
completely black and
these
white.
individual players based on the performance of the team. The
I'm
award is for
basing
the
it on the
best
two
play.
teams they play on.
No.
These
But
players play on two teams, Rocky, not one.
yes, but you're judging the award is for the best player in the world. And the thing
Yes.
we're all forgetting is fundamentally there is an eye test, which is who is the best player in the world, right? For the longest time, it was either Messi or Ronaldo because you could just say to yourself, and there is no better player in the world than Messi, right? There is no, and that was easy to confirm. The one time that duopoly was broken was because Luka Modric won. I mean, he won Ballon d'Or. Why? Because he was the best player on Real Madrid and on Croatia, who made the final of the World Cup, right? The problem we're
Right.
having is for Rodri to break up, the eye test would suggest that Vinicius is the best player in the world. What he's doing on the field, how dangerous he is with the ball, the stuff, how entertaining he is as a player as well. Yes. The eye test would suggest that Vinicius is the best player in the world. The only way you break that up is if you have a
That's
player
not the award.
who's
It's not the
so
award.
good, who's
It's
so
not-
good.
It's
Rodri
not
is
who is
not-
the most exciting player to watch. That's not the award.
And they're different players, right? They play different positions. One's
Totally
a holding midfielder. One's a holding midfielder. One's a
Yes,
One's a
but for a holding midfielder to be to breaking the conversation, the way Luka's not a holding midfielder but a midfielder, right? To break in the conversation, you have to be so good, almost perfect, right? And the
Yeah.
problem I have with Rodri is Manchester City did not win the Champions League. Had they won the Champions League, we could have a conversation, yes, because then he wins with Spain and he wins with Manchester City. Then yes, we can have an actual conversation. Because then it becomes, are you making your team so much better? And then it's like, take away the talent and the skills and look at how good he is for the team.
Yeah,
My
it's-
problem
it's-
right now is you have, they're equal on the team level because Brazil, Spain, Man City, Real Madrid, right? So that cancel each other out, and then you have just the eye test, which is it's hard to deny that
Yeah.
he's a more dangerous player.
All right, so let's put it to the fans. Do you agree with Rahi or do you agree with Roy out there? Should it be Rodri or Vinicius Jr.? We will find out for sure who the powers that be choose very shortly. So if those of you enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. Keep watching the beautiful game and Ballon D'Or. Unfortunately, none of us is winning the Ballon D'Or.
I should be in the conversation. I had 2 goals last week for my team.